But take heed, lest by any means this liberty of yours become a stumbling block to them that are weak. So there's meat that's offered to idols, and it's, they're like, oh man, I couldn't eat that. And he's like, well, I get that. It's like the meat doesn't get us, if I eat some meat, it doesn't put me farther away from God or get me closer to God. But it could be a stumbling block to them that are weak. For if any man see thee which hath knowledge sit at meat in the idol's temple, shall not the conscience of him which is weak be emboldened to eat those things which are offered to idols? Some preacher gets up and says, you can use any word in the, vocabulary word, and he uses these words that our culture and Christian culture in America has deemed as vulgar and rotten and nasty, and the way people use them was wicked and filthy. And they see you do that. What are you doing? You're offending. You're causing people to sin. And because the pastor is an example of the brethren, you know what he's doing? He's saying, hey, green light, A-okay, go for it. And through thy knowledge shall the weak brother perish for whom Christ died. Wow. But when ye sin and so against, notice this, but when ye sin so against the brethren and wound their weak conscience, ye sin against Christ. Wherefore, if meat make my brother to offend, I will eat no meat or eat no flesh while the world standeth, lest I make my brother to offend. He says, you know what? I think it's a sin. I think what they were saying is a sin. But you know what? For this very reason, even if you think it's like you're just so high and mighty, and you're like, well, no words or that don't make me unclean or whatever. I'll say whatever I want to say. What about the weaker brothers? What about the children in the room? What about people who might see your words and go into greater sins? And he says, you're sinning not against your brother, you're sinning against Christ.